The sun's trying hard to come out today, but just too many clouds, I guess. And what's going on today? How about this one's kind of interesting. It relates to things like drone light shows, and a lot of people are saying in the future you'll see advertisements of drones up in the sky. Well, how about this one where people were upset because they were expecting, I guess, an entertaining show versus an advertisement? This one says, SF Giants unleash fresh new hell on fans with mostly advertisement drone show. So what's going on here, huh? It says the San Francisco Giants have not been afraid to take some big swings for marketing gimmicks over the years. Monday's drone show, though, should join the Cruz Patches and Rusty the Mechanical Man on the list of whiffs. This week, the Bay Area is witnessing a blue supermoon, and the rare lunar occurrence was clearly visible at Oracle Park on Monday. The Giants and Blue Moon Brewing Company teamed up at the last minute to capitalize on, well, you get it. The drone show was announced Thursday, and 4 days later, after the Giants eked out a 5-3 win over the Chicago White Sox, fans who were willing to wait 20 minutes after the last pitch were treated to this. And by the looks of it, it looks like an advertisement for the company, and it says, the show lasted less than 10 minutes in its entirety with nothing but instrumental music playing in the background. There were only 2 San Francisco specific animations, the opening sequence of a full moon growing over the Golden Gate Bridge, and one scene where a batter hits a baseball that gets bigger and bigger until it turns into the Giants logo. Otherwise, it was a lot of animations celebrating the brewing company. The company put its full circular moon logo up in the drone lights twice. Then an animation showed an orange peel going into a beer before showing a rocket blasting off and eventually crashing into a moon-like circle. The company then put its name back up again as a sign-off, telling folks, "See you at the next blue moon," before the words "Celebrate responsibly" appeared along a few fireworks shape. The volume of blue moon advertisements within the show was the main takeaway for many fans. And I guess like what a lot of the comments implied, people were saying they'll get advertisement out of this, as that's what they want, although the wrong type. People scolding it, for example. Can you imagine that? Who came up with this idea? Oh yeah, people will love to stick around and watch, I don't know, ads for our products and all that. And this was kind of interesting as it reminded me kind of that story yesterday where that film company here got fined, for example, for flying the drone to capture killer whales. And how about this one in other parts of the world where when they don't want drones to be flown in the area, they'll shoot it down and all that. This one says, wedding photographer arrested for photographing perahera with drone camera. A wedding photographer by the name Razanga Disanayake was arrested for taking photos of the final Rondoli perahera with a drone camera. The Sri Lanka Air Force personnel who detected the drone flying above Dalada, Malagawa, shot the drone down and arrested the suspect at a hotel close to the Temple of the Tooth. Using drone cameras without permission above the Dalada, Malagawa is prohibited. 2 other individuals were also arrested for using a drone on the 3rd day of the Rondoli perahera. Yeah, depending on where you are in the world, some people take it really seriously. I can imagine here, they probably won't be doing that again, huh? It makes me wonder too, where people joke about it, but in this case, what would happen if, let's just say someone had a balloon with a long string and they happened to put like an action camera on it just to get the aerial views? Would they actually treat it just as serious, for example? I do wonder about that. And when it comes to taking drones down, how about this one when it comes to military situations? Kind of a bad mix-up here. This one says, Russian forces mistakenly down own drone, call for better ID methods. So it looked like someone took it down and then they were celebrating, not knowing it was, I guess, their own drones per se. It says, Russian soldiers proudly presented a downed Ukrainian drone. It turned out that it was actually Russian, which led to a very negative reaction and calls from a Russian military blogger for corrective actions. Here's what the Russians shot down. Drones of various types have become a daily occurrence in the war in Ukraine, where particular fear is aroused by FPV drones and bombarding drones known as Baba Yaga. Reconnaissance drones directing artillery fire on detected targets are also a significant concern. This applies to both Russian and Ukrainians who have insufficient means to combat them and to try to counter drones, for example, by ramming them with another drone. This method is quite effective, but the biggest problem remains identifying whether a given drone belongs to their own side or the enemy's. Are these the type of people who would say they want things like remote ID would work in these situations? Although the alternative is kind of interesting because it says a military blogger proposes a solution to the Russian identification problem by printing photos of Russian drones on sheets of paper and distributing them to soldiers so that they do not shoot down such objects. I don't know if that's a good idea, especially during the battlefield and so forth. I don't know if you have time to look through your binder of materials, like, oh, does that drone look like ours and all that? All right, see you guys later.